Today, I'm going to be talking about daily habits to boost brain health and prevent cognitive decline. Why am I talking about this? Well, dementia cases are increasing at quite a rapid rate. More than 55 million people worldwide have dementia, but by 2050, that number is expected to increase to 131 million due to the aging population. But dementia and Alzheimer's are not a normal part of aging. So I'm going to teach you some of my essential daily habits that I do myself to protect my brain health, preserve my memory, thinking skills, and much more. The first thing I do every single day is I get my BBGs in. That is beans, berries, greens, seeds, and nuts. The reason why I have these in my diet every single day is because it is part of the MIND diet, which is a modified Mediterranean diet. So Mediterranean diet, as we're probably all aware now, is one that is largely plant-based, has got nuts and legumes and lots of different ingredients that we know are heart healthy. A modified Mediterranean diet, also known as a MIND diet, includes some of these additional ingredients in that diet, like berries. A MIND diet, looking at some of the trial data that we have, is tied to a 53% lower risk of Alzheimer's for those with the highest MIND diet scores. So those who adhere to that MIND diet as much as possible. Now, in clinical trials, these foods individually have also been shown to improve cognitive performance, such as memory and attention. They provide essential vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds that we call polyphenols, including some of the flavonoids and carotenoids that you might have come across before. And these can protect the brain by reducing oxidative stress and reducing neuroinflammation. I'm going to talk to you through exactly why I have these servings as a minimum every single day. Just remember, every single day you want to be ticking off your BBGs: berries, beans, greens, seeds, and nuts. Berries. So berries have sort of long been known to have these brain boosting benefits. At least one serving a day, which is around 80 grams or a handful of berries. It can be frozen, it can be fresh if it's in season. They contain a major class of natural water-soluble compounds called anthocyanins. And these provide this bright appearance to berries. They are rich in things like blackberry, elderberry, even black currants as well. And actually, black currants have the highest amount of these anthocyanins. They also provide fiber as the whole berry itself and different antioxidants such as vitamin C and E and other polyphenols like flavonoids and phenolic acids. And in human trials, berries have been shown to improve blood flow to the brain, improve cognitive function and memory processing speed and attention as well. Now, I'm not going to say that, as long as you have your berries before your exam, you're going to get 100% marks or whatever, but in trials where they've actually tried to mimic some cognitive tests, they have demonstrated improved speed and attention and improved outcomes as well. So it is quite interesting to see what those anthocyanins may be doing, and then potential mechanism might be improved blood flow to the brain as well. The way I try and get these in every single day is I think after a meal, can I have some berries that are frozen? Can I add it to overnight oats, for example? Can I have it with a little bit of dark chocolate as a snack? It's very easy to get your daily berries up every single day because they are actually fantastic when they're frozen too. They're super cheap that way, and you can get them organic as well. Beans and lentils. I get at least 1 to 2 servings of this a day, which is again around 2 handfuls cooked. They're a major source of soluble fiber. They also contain B vitamins. They have a bit of protein, not high amounts of protein, but a bit of protein. And they also contain some of these flavonoids and phenolic acids that you usually associate with things like berries. But even though beans tend to be like black or brown, like in the case of lentils, they do actually have potent antioxidant properties. And a higher intake of legumes, so beans and lentils, is related to better cognition among other older adults. The mechanism may be somewhat because of the flavonoid content, but it also is probably going to be because you're adding lots of fiber, which is boosting that population of microbes that live in your digestive tract. It creates those short-chain fatty acids that nourishes the inside of your digestive tract, and it improves inflammation levels and can also signal to your brain that everything's going on all right as well. It boosts the population of favorable microbes. Not every microbe is out to get us. In fact, most of the microbes that we have in our internal systems are doing good for us, but it will boost the favorable populations that can lead to better outcomes from a heart perspective as well. And whatever is good for your heart is also good for your brain. So make sure you get 1 to 2 servings every single day of beans and lentils. The third thing is dark green leafy vegetables. I get at least 2 servings plus a day. They give you, yes, fiber. They also give you vitamin K, folate, and other polyphenols, again, like carotenoids. Eating leafy greens regularly is tied to slower cognitive decline, the equivalent of being 11 years younger compared to rarely or never eating greens at all. So I try and get greens as often as possible. They also contain things like magnesium. They have glucosinolates in if you're getting them from the brassica family. These are powerfully anti-inflammatory, and they might also have neuroprotective properties as well. So it dampens down neuroinflammation. The way I tend to think about getting them in my diet as often as possible is just simply wilting it into stews, curries, or casseroles. I have it as a side. I also think to myself, can I get one more green at the side of like a meal? If I'm having a sandwich, can I have a side of salad with that? Some rocket or arugula or some spinach? Just constantly think about, where are you getting your greens from? It's a very, very simple strategy that could have those brain boosting benefits as well. And the last thing is seeds. Seeds and nuts. I call them BBGs because it sounds better than BBGN, but it's seeds and nuts. And I try and get 1 to 2 handfuls a day. That's around 50 to 60 grams. They add healthy fats, such as monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids in their whole form. They add minerals such as magnesium, potassium, and they also add fiber as well as vitamin E, which is super important for brain health. They also have these interesting phytosterols that can reduce cholesterol levels in your blood. That again is good for your heart, and whatever is good for your heart is also going to be good for your brain as well. So try to get at least 1 to 2 handfuls of seeds and nuts every single day. Again, it could be as a snack. It could be a topping on top of a salad, for example. Just think of those wonderful fatty acids, those anti-inflammatory chemicals that you're introducing into your body every time you sit down to eat. They have wonderful properties for your body. It is essential to try and get fats into your diet. I know we've had this sort of long-standing belief that fats are bad, we should steer clear of them because of their calorific content. Actually, when you consume whole seeds and nuts, you're not actually absorbing all those fats. In fact, most of the product is going to be excreted through your digestive system, because breaking down the cell walls and breaking down the fiber is something that you can't really do very effectively. So if you're eating whole nuts, most of that is going to be digested by your microbes, and anything extra is going to be excreted out. I would not worry about the calorific content of nuts and seeds like we've previously been. It's something that I would recommend having every single day. I would not worry about the calorific content of nuts and seeds because it's something that is an antiquated opinion, purely based on calories in, calories out. And as we've discussed before, it's not as simple as that. You definitely want to be getting fats into your diet, and good quality fats from nuts and seeds is the best way to go. If you can get your BBGs in every single day, if that's the only thing you do, even one of those BBGs, just choose one of them, whether it's beans, whether it's berries, whether it's nuts or seeds, you're doing something super powerful for your brain health, and you're potentially preventing, if not delaying, the diagnosis of Alzheimer's and other dementia-related illnesses. So please think about BBGs as your playbook, as your strategy that could do you a world of good. Remember, a mind diet, even though that is a modified Mediterranean diet, doesn't necessarily need to be flavored Mediterranean. So yes, you can get Italian food, and that's very much in line with the BBGs that I've just been talking about and a Mediterranean diet. But the principles of a mind diet can be applied to any cuisine you like, whether that's Ethiopian, whether it's Indian, whether it's Korean. They can all be in line with the principles of a modified Mediterranean diet that is going to be good for your brain health as well. There are some extra brain boosting ingredients that I do want to heighten your awareness of. The first one is extra virgin olive oil. This is something I have every single day. And it's been shown that eating around 7 grams of olive oil daily is linked to a 28% lower risk of dying from dementia-related causes. We've talked about extra virgin olive oil at length on the podcast. It's one of those things that I think is a no-brainer for everyone. It's got monounsaturated fatty acids, vitamin E, but the potential brain-boosting benefits may be due to the polyphenols that you find in extra virgin olive oil. So things like oleopenes, these are neuroprotective and they are anti-inflammatory. They even have pain relieving benefits as well. So I try and use extra virgin olive oil in all my cooking as much as possible, as long as the flavor profile matches what I'm actually producing and cooking with in the kitchen. And you can also have a tablespoon of it just on its own as well if you want to take it almost like a medicine. Cacao or dark chocolate have flavonoids, and dark chocolate is actually something that is super healthy. It is packed full of things like flavonols and epicacin, and these improve brain health by improving blood flow to the brain. So they lower inflammation, they improve the circulation in your brain, and they also feed your gut microbes. They actually have a prebiotic effect. And in human trials, consuming quality dark chocolate, so I'm not talking about the milk and sugar-laden chocolates that you tend to find in sweet stores and candy stores. I'm talking about good quality dark chocolate that is 75% as a minimum, or raw cacao powder, actually improves participants' mental skills, verbal fluency, which is the ability to come up with words, and memory as well. This is something I get in my diet every single day. I'm usually having at least a 20-gram bar of like a break of chocolate every single day, or I have a raw cacao drink that I'll just mix in some hot water and a tiny bit of sweetener, maybe some raw honey. This is a really brain healthy drink, and it's something that actually has some evidence base behind it as well. Omega-3 rich sources like oily fish. So these are major sources of the omega-3 fatty acids that are long chain, called DHA and EPA. These are omega-3 fatty acids that support brain function and lower brain inflammation. And in cohort studies, people who eat fish regularly have a lower risk of dementia as well. So the type of fish that I tend to go for are sardines, anchovies, mackerel, herring. These are the smash variety of fish. They tend to be smaller and richer in omega-3 fatty acids, a staple of the Mediterranean diet, but you can combine that fish with lots of different sauces as well. You can actually put it in curries. You can put it in with gochujang, which is a fermented Korean sauce. It actually tastes delicious, particularly as these are smaller fish and they have a stronger flavor. They actually quite nicely pair with a stronger flavored sauce or marinade as well. So try and lean into oily fish if you can, a couple of times a week. I'll talk about supplements in the second one with regards to long chain omega-3. But if you do eat fish, then those are the different types of fish that I would definitely go for. Another ingredient that I get probably, if not daily, every other day, is turmeric. It's the main active compound of turmeric is called curcumin, and this may lower inflammation and oxidative stress and disrupt the formation and accumulation of toxic amyloid plaques in the brain. Some studies, often funded unfortunately, suggest that curcumin supplementation can actually improve memory and attention, but there may be problems with the bioavailability and the crossing of the blood-brain barrier for this particular molecule. We definitely need more research to confirm the best dose. But for now, having an anti-inflammatory spice in your diet like turmeric, or taking a curcumin supplement, if you prefer the supplemental form, is something I would recommend from a brain health point of view, and potentially staving off delaying the diagnosis or preventing in its entirety dementia. The second brain healthy habit is simply moving more. Regular physical exercise is tied to a lower risk of Alzheimer's. It's probably one of the most powerful interventions that we have. Aerobic exercise, once again, improves blood flow to the brain. It lowers inflammation and oxidative damage, and it can facilitate the formation of new neurons as well. This is something called neurogenesis. And whatever improves neurogenesis, whether it be dietary compounds or whether it be something like an intervention like exercise, is going to be uniquely beneficial for preventing or delaying dementia. It also improves sleep, mood, and stress levels, all of which support brain health. So whatever you can do to get yourself moving is going to be phenomenal for your brain. If you're sedentary, if you don't really get up much, perhaps you're inhibited by pain, the minimum exercise that you can do is going to be beneficial for your brain. Even if that means doing more walks around the house, even if that means going for a longer walk outside, it doesn't necessarily equate to going to the gym and lifting heavy weights. Just a quick one. If you're enjoying this kind of content, you will love our free newsletter called Eat, Listen, Read. Every week, I send you a recipe that you'll absolutely love, something to listen to, something to read, sometimes something to watch, less than 3 minutes, and it will help you have a healthful, happier week. You can find that in the link down below. What's recommended is 30 minutes of aerobic exercise like walking each day and strength training at least 3 times per week. Now, people struggle with that. If you can't do 30 minutes every single day, do less. That's totally fine, but titrate it upwards. I try and get at least 30 or optimally 45 minutes of aerobic exercise every single day. And don't forget, that includes things like walking around, not just running or cycling or swimming. It can be doing steps up and down the stairs, for example, getting exercise snacks in every single day. Those short bursts of activity definitely add up. Even domestic housework as well, cleaning around the house has been shown to be as physically taxing as going to the gym and doing structured workouts. So just try and add that extra activity wherever you can, whether it's walking between the bus stops or getting off your tube stop or train stop one stop early so you can get that extra aerobic activity in. That is going to be uniquely beneficial for your brain. Even if you can't get structured exercise or walking, I try and at least do stretching in the morning. That way you're getting your body moving, you're increasing your body temperature very slightly, and even stretching during waiting for the kettle to boil in the morning or doing squats whilst you're brushing your teeth. These are all little ways in which you can introduce activity into your day to keep your body moving. If you think about our evolutionary history, we are designed to move constantly. We're not really designed to be idle at all. We would have been walking for many, many miles every single day, whether that's hunting for food or foraging. So we need to sort of think of ourselves as movement animals. We are designed to constantly be on the go. So think about infusing your day with all that movement as much as possible. That's what's brain protective for sure. Another thing that I think is really important is this resistance training piece. When you flex your muscles, you're generating myokines, and these are anti-inflammatory. They've even been shown to remodel your cardiac system as well. There's a whole other episode that we're going to have to do around the activity of resistance exercise because it's fascinating from a brain health point of view. But moving those large and engaging those large muscles in your legs is probably the best thing that you can do to supplement aerobic exercise as well. Getting a good mix of those different activities is going to be brilliant for preventing and delaying the diagnosis of dementia. The third thing is flexing your mental muscles. Why? Well, research shows that people who engage in mentally stimulating activities, such as playing an instrument or having a mentally stimulating job, have a lower risk of cognitive decline in later life as well. So activities that get your brain working, like taking a class, playing a new musical instrument, doing crafts, even drawing, painting, singing, solving puzzles. These are all things that stimulate your brain and have been shown to improve the chances that you're not going to get dementia. It's best to avoid screens when you can because those can actually focus your attention in a different way. And you actually want to introduce ways in which to socialize with other people as well. So screen time is less conducive to that. Whereas if you're doing something in a class or you're doing drawing or you're playing an instrument, for example, that's probably going to have this social element as well, which is a big confounder with this actually. So socializing and having a strong community has also been shown to be one of the biggest determinants of preventing dementia too. So anything that gets you in that social environment, like flexing your mental muscles and trying something new, is something that I would highly, highly encourage. The fourth thing is sleep. Now, this is in order of priority. I think sleep is right up there, and getting 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep seems to be in line with what the research is telling us is the optimal amount. Poor sleep, including too little or too much sleep, is linked to a high risk of dementia and Alzheimer's in multiple studies. But what is quality sleep? Well, quality sleep, which is crucial for brain health, helps clear out waste products accumulated during the day. Sleep disturbances have also been linked to lower activation of these clearance pathways, which result in lower grade inflammation, which is linked to Alzheimer's disease as well. So what happens during sleep? Well, you have these glial cells that actually mean glue in Latin or Greek, I can't remember now. These provide structure to your brain cells. During the day, your brain cells are constantly producing metabolic waste products, just as a normal product of metabolism. during sleep, these glial cells shrink and they create spaces in between them. These spaces are filled by CSF during the evening or during your sleep. This stands for cerebrospinal fluid. It bathes over these cells and washes away all these different metabolic products that have built up during the day. This is crucial because what happens is when you remove those waste products, you remove the likelihood of causing excess inflammation. If you still have products there, metabolic waste products, i.e. you haven't given yourself enough sleep to allow that CSF to bathe through those cells, you're going to get a buildup of these toxic products that can lead to more neuroinflammation, that can lead to these plaques, these tangles accumulating over time. And that's what potentially can predispose to dementia as well. On the other hand, if you have quality sleep, that involves getting the right amounts of 7 to 8, being consistent, and ensuring that the sleep you get is actually restorative. A few rough nights is probably not going to have a big impact, but consistently having poor sleep week on week can certainly add up. In reality, I know it's challenging. Sleep for me is probably one of the most challenging areas of lifestyle medicine, but finding what works for you and ruthlessly practicing it, that is really, really worthwhile. So to improve your sleep, what I do is I try and set a regular bedtime. I avoid caffeine for at least 12 hours before bed. I have a wind down routine with relaxing activities where I steer clear of my laptop and anything that's going to stimulate me, like my phone, for example. And I keep my bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. I know that investing in a decent amount of quality sleep, 7 to 8 hours, ensuring that I'm not disturbed, and regularity, this is going to be one of the best things that I can do to reduce my risk of cognitive decline. And it's something that you can do and practice whatever your age group. The fifth thing is protect your head. Now, I mentioned activities earlier. If you're a climber or you like cycling, for example, this is an activity that might put you at risk of a head injury, but I wouldn't say that you should avoid it because of that. But you just want to make sure you're taking precautions. Always wear a helmet when doing any of these kind of activities where there's a risk of head injuries. And it's a very simple thing to forget. And I don't think many people remind themselves of the fact that small knocks to your head or risks of large knocks to your head can really put you at risk of dementia later on in life. There's a reason why football players and boxers have a much higher risk of dementia. It's because they're constantly taking knocks to the head, and you want to limit or minimize the likelihood of you having any sort of brain damage or concussion. Just simply wear a helmet and take precautions whenever you're doing high risk activities. Finally, I would do these 3 health checks to preempt any mild cognitive impairment so you can be proactive with lifestyle measures and be a lot more rigorous with all the things that I've just talked about, plus some other things as well that I've talked about in other podcasts on brain health. So the first thing is get your hearing tested. Hearing loss may actually exacerbate mild cognitive impairment. So regularly testing your hearing is something that I would do to ensure that we are preempting any hearing loss, but also you can do a lot about it. You can create environments where you're actually going to be more conversational or actually being able to engage in conversation because you've dampened down the sound in your home environment. But obviously you can also invest in hearing aids that again will prevent the cognitive decline if hearing loss is something that you are suffering with. The second thing is blood pressure. I've talked about blood flow being a very, very important part of brain decline, and actually vascular dementia is one of the main types of dementia, and mixed dementia, which is a combination of different types of dementia like Alzheimer's and vascular. So please check your blood pressure. Blood pressure is not something that you generally can tell that is high or low, and it's very easily treated with lifestyle approaches, food, and obviously medications as well. So please definitely get your blood pressure checked regularly, invest in a home monitor, and ensure that you're using that home monitor properly as well. It involves sitting down at rest, not after caffeine and not after exercise, for a couple of minutes, putting the blood pressure cuff at the same level as your heart, resting your arm at a normal 90-degree angle, and then performing the best of 3. That will give you your ideal number or your ideal blood pressure, or a true reflection of what your actual blood pressure is. I'll try and do that a couple of times a week and just get a level of what your blood pressure is actually doing. And any perturbations around that, I would speak to your GP or your primary physician about it too. And there are 3 nutritional deficiencies that I would regularly check as well. These potentially can exacerbate dementia. B vitamins, particularly looking out for B12, which is chronically low in a lot of people. It's very easily supplemented, and you can also get it from food products as well. Magnesium, that is something that's harder to test, but your primary physician can also look for magnesium. Magnesium is found in nuts and seeds, dark green leafy vegetables, so it's very easy to get from your diet, but most people don't have enough in their diet, hence their magnesium levels are slightly low. The third thing is omega-3. Now, there's a really easy blood spot test that you can do at home. It costs like £50 or so. It's a single drop of blood. You send it off and it will give you a range of where you fall in for your omega-3 index level. You want to be in the upper quartile of that, and there is an association between low omega-3 and a higher risk of dementia. Like I said, you can either get your omega-3 from oily fish, the smash fish variety, but you can also supplement as well. And I highly recommend, if you are fully plant-based, vegetarian, or even largely plant-based like myself, to think about supplementing with an omega-3 supplement that's high in DHA and EPA. Omega-3 indices, I think, are going to become a lot more popular over the next couple of years. It's quite easy to do, it's quite cheap, and it's something that I would say is a nutritional deficiency to check, because a lot of people are deficient in omega-3. If you want to learn about the worst drinks for longevity, check out this video that I've done here that looks at the popular drinks that are on the market that are actually antithetical to healthy aging.